Hey guys, it is Brandy here with Dave and Brandy Excursions here with a tip video. We're going to talk about probably the best tips for first time cruisers. What we learned from the past from our first time cruising, and since we're a little bit more seasoned, we're going to explain our top few tips for the first time cruiser. So stay tuned and let's chat about it. Well, for our number one thing, which is to us it's important, is travel insurance. I know there are some people that don't take the travel insurance because they feel, we're good. They don't want to spend a little extra money on it. For us, actually me especially, we do take the travel insurance. For the last, I would say maybe about 7 to 8 cruises, we've gone through the cruise line for the travel insurance, which is usually at the end of your quote screen. You have the option of purchasing the travel insurance. I can't remember the exact amount, what it is per day or for the whole trip, but it does include a certain amount for evacuations or for medical expenses or anything that happens. We recently, within the last probably like few cruises, went through Nationwide for our travel insurance because it's cheaper than the cruise line, has better coverage actually, has a higher deductible for different medical evacuations or any medical treatments, and the Nationwide travel insurance, the way one we pick, has a pre-existing clause. And now, for some of you, I'm not sure if you know, I do have a pre-existing condition. I have an autoimmune disease called ulcerative colitis. So I have to watch what I eat, and I have to take daily medication just to keep things calm. So in that regard, some of the clauses don't cover pre-existing conditions just because you do have one and you're a little bit more liable. The Nationwide coverage takes care of that for us, so that's one thing. It's just a little bit more of an ease of mind for us to have that. So you can do your own research. There are other companies like Alliance, Travel Guard, Nationwide. There's a whole bunch. You could do your own research, see which one works better for you price-wise and coverage-wise. So, but that's one thing we do recommend, is checking out travel insurance, just because you never know. Basically, you never know. Another tip that we have, which we wished we learned on our first cruise, is to see if your cruise line has a program that you can pay a little bit extra for to embark the ship quicker. When we sailed the Breeze in 2013, it was a madhouse. We sailed out of Miami. It was 4th of July week, and it was hot. It was crowded. It was a sold out cruise, so things were a little bit crazy and chaotic. And at the time, we didn't have what Carnival has, is Fast to the Fun, which is priority embarkation, priority tendering if you have a tender port, your room's ready before the other rooms. With the priority embarkation, you get on after the Diamond and Platinum status customers, then you go, then the rest go by zones, like Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, so on, that don't have the Fast to the Fun. I know Royal has their own program now, which is called the Key program, which is fairly new. So they're getting on board with the same type of situation with the priority embarkation and different perks along with that too. I know Fast to the Fun, it goes depending on the type of cruise and length of cruise. Starts out at $49.99 per cabin. So it's not per person, it's per cabin throughout the whole cruise. You pay that $49.99. I think that's ranging between 2 to 3 day cruises and some 4-day cruises, up to $119.95 per cabin, which I think that's the highest, which is for the Carnival Horizon for an 8-day cruise. But keep in mind, that's per cabin, it's not per person, and that's the total amount for the entire cruise. As for the Key program, it works a little bit differently. I couldn't find any research if there was any length time, if there was different variables, but it does start out at $24.99 per person per day. So it does have a little bit more different perks than the Faster to the Fun, but they're almost similar. So if you want to get on the ship quicker and just relax quicker and get to the fun quicker, look to see if those programs are available. I know for both programs, they're both limited, depending on how many status customers are sailing on that sailing. But if you happen to check out there's no Faster to the Fun or Key program when you first book your cruise, keep an eye out, because they do release some periodically depending on the customer base. And just don't get discouraged, just always keep an eye out for it. And the number 3 thing, which I'm still learning, and we've been on 10 cruises and I'm still learning, is to not overpack. I still have a tendency to overpack because I always think if something's gonna get ruined, if I get a stain on my shirt, or just something just gets dirty during the cruise, I tend to pack that extra shirt or extra set of pants or extra anything, because I always have the typical, what if something happens to my clothing while I'm on vacation? I don't have anything else to wear. I'm slowly learning. I'm getting better at it, but I also have to remember there is also laundry on the ship too, if need be. So always try to take what you truly need for your vacation and try not to overpack, because it makes your life easier when you're trying to unpack and then pack again when you're going back home. So just take what you need and try to learn from my mistakes. And the number 4 thing is to always bring your medications. It could go from over-the-counter medication up to your daily medication, like I do. Always make sure you have that with you. Also, with the over-the-counter medication deal, I mean, they do sell them on the ship. Like, if you happen to have like sinus issue going on, which I did on the Miracle, lucky me, and you need like the medication just to help alleviate the pain, or there's different things for colds, allergies on that. They have them on the ship, but you're gonna pay a pretty penny for it. I think when I got, it was a NyQuil, I believe, just like normal, the liquid form NyQuil on the Miracle. It was $17. Yeah. But also I found out if you go to the doctor on board and to the office, they have a very similar and more effective medicine, which they sold for $6. So that's something I learned this past year. But also just overall, to keep your spending at a minimum, always bring those extra medications, because they are very expensive on the ship because they're paid for convenience. So keep that in mind. Our number 5 tip, and it's something you typically wouldn't even think about doing, is if you're planning to use your debit or credit card overseas, make sure you call your bank and let them know what's going on. Because if they see a transaction in a foreign area or foreign country, they'll most likely put a hold on your account, because they'll probably think it's fraudulent. So that's always a good thing to keep in mind. If you're traveling internationally and you think you are going to use your debit card or credit card while you're at, say, Cozumel or Grand Cayman or Nassau, just for your own ease of mind and for your aggravation, well, less aggravation, I should say, please let your bank know, because they do take that seriously and will stop any transaction if they see it's out of the country. And our number 6 reason, and it's kind of important, bring your documentation. Make sure you have your boarding passes when you print them out at home to board the ship. Make sure you have your ID, like a driver's license, birth certificate, passport. Always make sure you got that with you. Those are especially needed when you board the ship. When you do your check-in, when you get there, they'll ask for that information. We always use passports. We have done that since first started cruising. We've never done the whole driver's license and birth certificate because we never had them since we had the passports. I know in some states now, including our state of Pennsylvania, they are starting what they call real ID type thing, which I think will help if you have a driver's license. But since we have a passport, we don't need the real ID for us. The passport is the real ID. But if we didn't have one, we would have to go through the state of Pennsylvania to apply for it and have a little special marking on our driver's license. But very important, always bring your documentation with you when you're boarding the ship. And the number 7 tip is to bring proper footwear. You're thinking, why? Well, especially if you're walking on the ship, you make sure you don't have anything that's too slippery. If you're walking on the deck, they do tend to get slipped if they're a little bit wet from the dew in the morning time, or if you're by the water side in the pool. I've taken a couple spills, so I've learned from this mistake. That, and also, if you're doing an excursion, sometimes they require, depending on the activity of that excursion, if you're going to be out doing more of a hiking excursion or an ATV, make sure you bring the proper footwear, because a lot of them will ask for closed-toed shoes. If you don't have them, you can't do the excursion. So it's more of a liability thing for both you and them. But that's one thing to consider. Make sure you do take the proper footwear for on the ship and for your excursion. And the very last tip, which is the most important tip to remember, are you ready for it? Are you ready? Just have fun. It's so simple. Just go, relax, and have fun. You make your vacation, you create your own destiny. If you want to have fun, it's gonna happen. Just don't overthink. Just chill, go with the flow. To a certain degree, go with the flow, and just enjoy your vacation. That is the most important tip of all. Thanks again, guys, for hanging out with us for a Cruiseday Tuesday. If you like this type of content, give it a big thumbs up, like, comment, and consider subscribing to the channel. Just actually kind of proud. As of right now, we're almost at 900 subs, so yay, we're almost hitting that 1K mark, so very excited about that. That's one thing I thought would never happen. This is more or less like a hobby. We like to share our experiences and our cruises, and it's just amazing that people take the time to watch us and put their input on our vlogs, and we truly greatly appreciate it. So let's keep the good momentum going. That's a goal that we want to achieve within the next few months. So, but thanks again, guys. And our links to our social media is down below if you want to hang with us before the vlogs or a little bit more real time. And we'll see you next week. Have a great day, guys. Bye.